1980. A time when the video arcade scene was still young. One man would make a discovery that would kick off the character-driven game market.
And he made that discovery from an inspiration. An inspiration that came from eating pizza.
Yeah, while taking out his first slice of pizza, Toru Iwatani saw Pac-Man. If he had instead ordered a panini, we might have missed out.
The game is simple, yet challenging and fun.
Originally Pacman, he got a name change, so now you play the role of Pac-Man, who must get through a series of mazes and eat all the pellets. You have 4 ghost monsters chasing after him: Blinky, Pinky, Inky, and Clyde. But if you pick up a power pellet, the hunter becomes the hunted. For a short period of time. And seriously, what a fun game.
I wonder if that pizza parlor wanted a check from Namco.
And with that, Pac-Mania was on. Oh yeah, that's a game too. With many spin-offs, lots of merchandise, mac and cheese, and even a cartoon show, Pac-Man was truly a juggernaut. However, there was someone who stole his thunder for quite some time. Pac-Man's significant other, Miss Pac-Man. Yeah, not really sure why, but I can remember all through my childhood, till my early 20s, Miss Pac-Man was getting all of the attention. And even this combo arcade game comes with Galaga and Miss Pac-Man.
I even have this plug and play from 2004. Miss Pac-Man has the biggest sticker, and get this, Pac-Man isn't even on the device.
You actually had to buy a separate cartridge and quietly sneak Pac-Man in the back door of this plug and play. However, for about the last 10 years, he's really made a comeback.
There was another attempt to bring more attention to Pac-Man. In 1994, on both the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo, we saw the release of Pac-Man 2: The New Adventures.
This was another game that I had my mom rent from Blockbuster on the Super Nintendo. And once again, my sisters and I try to beat it in a weekend. We're going to be taking an alternating look between the SNES and the Genesis versions, because...
Why not?
Now, this game was an interesting project. It's really an interactive cartoon instead of a standard video game.
Most people might not like that, but if you allow yourself to get immersed in the game, you'll see where it shines.
It's an atmospheric game. It has a certain feel to it, like a small town right out of Thomas the Tank Engine. Seems peaceful. However, in the 1982 cartoon series, his town looks both futuristic and alien.
Did you hear that? Pac-Man must have chomped us so hard he hurt his chompers.
What do you say we go down to the hospital and pay him our respects?
But we ain't got no respect for Pac-Man.
Ah, yes. The cartoon series. I discovered it only a couple of years ago, and I like it. I'm guessing that Namco didn't have the rights to use assets from the show, which is too bad because I like Mesmeron.
Yeah, and he chops like this.
Stop it, you blithering baboon!
I think the cartoon assets would have made the game better.
The arcade game Pac-Land follows the cartoon a little more faithfully. It even has the show's theme song. However, some cartoon elements are present in Pac-Man 2. For example, the ghost monsters turn into different solid objects, but you can still see their eyes.
Well, on to Pac-Man 2.
Pacman 2.
There is a skippable intro scene telling you about the Pac family. The ghost monsters, and not Mesmeron.
The Ghost Witch, fine.
After that, you're brought to the menu screen. For now, we'll just hit start. You now get an introduction from Pac-Man telling you who he is and how the game works. Again, this is skippable, but you can learn the game controls here if you don't already know them.
When renting this game as a kid, my sisters and I thought this right here was cute.
Pausing the game brings you to a menu that shows you a few things, like items that you have to find and your current objective. But if you sit there too long, Pac-Man does this.
Wait even longer, and it gets pretty mad.
Now, like I said earlier, this game is really an interactive cartoon. In Pac-Man 2, you don't directly control Pac-Man, because he has a mind of his own. Instead, you guide and help him with Namco's innovative character guidance interface, CGI.
So that's what CGI is. And here I thought it meant computer-generated image. Looks like their trademark failed to keep it in their hands.
You interact with Pac-Man in 3 ways. Hold one button down and press a direction. You'll tell Pac-Man to go and or look that way. Hold another button down and you'll pull the slingshot back. The direction buttons aim the slingshot, and when you release the button, you fire a marble. And the third button pulls the slingshot back again, but this time when you release, you fire a power pellet.
Power pellets! Back power! Let's get out of here!
And when he eats that, he turns into Super Pac-Man. Now he can defend himself against the ghost monsters and get over some big jumps that are in his way.
So I guess that makes you the CGI master of this game.
This game has quite a bit of trial and error. It's fun to shoot things and figure out what they do and what kind of reactions you're going to get.
Really, there's so many different reactions in this game, I haven't even found all of them.
Not only does shooting different things give different reactions, but also, depending on the mood Pac-Man's in, determines how he reacts to what you want him to look at. I don't remember him being this moody in the original arcade game. More on that in a minute. Speaking of moods, on the Super Nintendo version, depending on what mood Pac-Man's in, determines the speed of the music. Pretty cool.
Well, other than making Pac-Man react to things, we do have a storyline.
Really, Pac-Man's just trying to enjoy a peaceful day, but it looks like that's not going to happen. Mission number 1. Feed Pac-Baby.
Well, Pac-Baby looks a little different.
My guess is that Pac-Baby from the show is now the 12-year-old Pac Jr., and we now have a new little sister Pac-Baby. Well, anyways, Pac-Baby's hungry, and Pac-Man is sent off to find her some milk. He comes outside, ready to find it. On our first level, we kick things off at Pac-Man's house, and a small countryside that he lives in.
There are windmills and a coal mine.
Before we find each objective, let's enjoy some reactions on every level.
For example, shoot Chomp Chomp and he gets angry and starts barking at Pac-Man, causing Pac-Man to scold the dog.
Bad, Chomp Chomp.
Which, Chomp Chomp's name really did make it from the cartoon to this game. Shoot this tree right here and drop a hornet's nest. The hornets form a ghost monster drawing and sting Pac-Man.
And the farmer right here offers plenty of fun.
Where to start? Well, for some reason, Farmer Fred here doesn't like Pac-Man. If he walks by, he'll grab him and start yelling at him. If you shoot Fred, you knock him out. But Pac-Man then steps on a rake and knocks himself out. If you instead shoot the hay above Fred, it'll fall down covering him up. You can either let Pac-Man walk by scot-free, which he also thinks is funny, or you can shoot the top of the hay, which reveals an angry Fred and scares Pac-Man away. And then there's Gizmo, the attack cat.
Nah, they mean Sourpuss.
Chomp Chomp! Sourpuss! No!
First, he gives a warning meow. Then, not paying attention, Pac-Man bumps into Horace, the hot dog vendor's stand. If Pac-Man's in a good enough mood, he'll buy a hot dog.
But this is what Sourpuss was waiting for.
He'll jump off the wall and steal the hot dog from Pac-Man. But with good aim and fast enough reflexes, you can shoot Sourpuss and run him off.
Just look at how happy that hot dog makes Pac-Man.
Also, if you shoot Sourpuss while he's up on the wall, he'll jump down and claw Pac-Man up, and it's a loss. Ugh, I don't like this part with a rock and a skateboard. If you don't make Pac-Man pay attention, he'll trip over the rock and then land on the skateboard, sending it way up in the air. And if you don't make him look up, it'll land on his head, knocking him out. And the skateboard. Pac-Man notices that without a problem. He decides to ride it. If you don't shoot him off of it quick enough, he'll trip on the rock and slam into a tree.
Isn't this a little hazardous for a family park?
However, I do like this clock in the middle of the park. Strike it enough times and just watch Pac-Man. Well, as you know, Pac-Man has to find Pac-Baby some milk.
Is there not a grocery store nearby?
Okay, there is one downtown, but it's closed. You might have noticed the trash can with eyes. Shoot it to reveal the ghost monsters. Pac-Man looks pretty scared and starts pointing at his mouth. Well, let's give him a power pellet. After chomping all the ghosts, you find the first ID card. This happens every time you find an important item. And if you look next door, you'll notice an arcade business. Pac-Man seems excited. Once you go inside, you'll notice two games. The one in the background is the arcade classic, Pac-Man. Shoot the glass to draw his attention to the game, and now you're enjoying this arcade at home.
This is such a cool feature on Namco's part. Offers more bang for the buck, that's for sure.
It's not an arcade-perfect port, but it's still very good. And something about this version's sound and appearance causes you to really get immersed in it.
There's times where I've easily played this for over an hour.
Get a high enough score and you are rewarded with a power pellet. You're also given a password for this game, which is pretty cool. Now, you might have noticed this other arcade cabinet. Well, you can't play it right now. You have to collect 3 parts of a game cartridge to unlock this game. Looks kind of like a Japanese Famicom cartridge.
And what game to unlock differs from Sega Genesis to Super Nintendo?
You can get the first cartridge by going next door to Lucy's house. First, be sure to watch out for her bulldog named Bulldog. You can wake him up and scare Pac-Man pretty good, but if he runs too fast, he'll get flattened by Dennis the Door Slammer. When walking slowly by, he still bumps Pac-Man on the head with his door.
I think this guy hates neighbors.
There's somebody out there? I guess not.
Another minor hazard is this spider in the tree. Once in Lucy's house, you'll notice that she's having trouble moving the couch. If Pac-Man's in the right mood, he will help her move it and voila, your first cartridge piece.
Whatever you do, though, don't do this.
Back to the objective at hand. This one's pretty easy. All you have to do is go back to the farm, get next to the cow, and shoot the glass jar. But not too many times. When Pac-Man starts reaching for it, shoot the crow on the power line, which will cause it to swoop down after Pac-Man, scaring him and knocking the jar off the sign. By the way, the crow's name is Velcro. You can also cause Velcro to knock an apple down for Pac-Man near Lucy's house. After getting the jar, Pac-Man will notice the cow, realize he has milk and a container now, and there you go.
Now that's some fresh milk.
You know, maybe this is why Farmer Fred doesn't like Pac-Man. How many times has he come to his farm and stolen milk? And then he dances and cheers because he didn't have to pay for it. Why else does Pac-Man sneak by him? And just look at his face when Fred is chewing him out.
Oh boy, here we go again.
I mean, just look at him. He really doesn't care.
Uh-huh. And when did you start having this problem?
And just picture Fred's perspective.
You see Pac-Man coming down your road with this look on his face. Here to steal more milk from you. Well, anyways, he gets back home and, probably because Pac-Man played his own arcade game for hours, Pac-Baby hits the bottle pretty hard. It even scares her parents. Every time you complete an objective, you watch the ghost monsters get punished by the Ghost Witch.
I really don't care for her.
There we go. Mesmeron. Also, every time after watching the Ghost Monster's punishment, you then see Super Pac-Man whizzing by the screen. He then lands, and the rest of his family pops up, and so does a password. You don't have to wait for these though, you can pause the game and get a password at any time.
What was their mission anyways? Keep Pac-Man from feeding his kid? That's awful.
Mission number 2. Lucy's birthday present. Not sure why Pac-Man is the only one who can get things done, but it's your neighbor Lucy's birthday, and Pepper...
Yeah, that's right. Pepper.
Pepper, 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 pepper.
Pepper.
wants you to get her favorite flowers. Not to mention, these flowers are in the mountains. Pepper has even bought a ropeway ticket for Pac-Man.
I mean, just look at his face. He wants to relax in that chair.
At this point, I'll mention the map. It's honestly quite nice to look at. It's pretty detailed, and they even give you a reference graphic of where Pac-Man is. And when he rides a vehicle, you get a cute animation for that too. Also, I think the hat-like roof on Pac-Man's house is a nod to the cartoon show. Okay, real quick. If you have Pac-Man go back in his house and shoot this painting off the wall, Pepper comes to chew him out.
Pac-Man, why did you knock that painting down? And where's Lucy's flowers?
Well, anyways, let's use that ropeway ticket, go to the mountains, and get some flowers. When in the mountains, you have a couple of directions you can go. Let's go to the right first. You'll notice this sign that says danger. If you leave it as is, Pac-Man gets this scared. But if you shoot the sign causing it to flip, you find out he had a good reason to be scared. Just shoot him when he's trying to run. Otherwise, he'll get flattened. Next, you'll find this spring of water. Most of the time, he'll wash his face, and it puts him in a better mood. The next screen has 2 types of berries and a butterfly. If he eats the yellowish berry, it'll put him in a sour mood. I like the animation for this mood. However, he isn't paying attention and slams into this tree, releasing caterpillars, which really scares him for some reason. Also, don't mess with the spring while he's in the sour mood. If he eats the blue-colored berries, he gets depressed.
I guess he has the blues.
In this mood, if you've left the caterpillars lying on the ground, he'll get smothered by them, and it's a loss.
He could just brush the caterpillars off.
He follows the butterfly, but nothing bad happens. There's also a rock in his path. Most of the time, he just kicks it out of the way. But you really don't want him depressed or scared. Psh, look at that. Too scared to remove a rock. And these logs right here, in most moods, he jumps on them and knocks himself out. He can also trip over the rock and crash into these. If you see classic Pac-Man animation above his head, you can shoot him to wake him up. If he's in a sad mood, sitting on the logs cheers him up. Next screen, you'll find these platforms. When Pac-Man leans over the edge to look down, shoot him to make him jump. However, when he's on the second platform, you'll want to shoot the supports out from under the platform. Otherwise, if he jumps from this height, he will fly right over the last platform and off a cliff. Pac-Man then comes to a sign and a minecart. He reads the sign explaining the minecart controls, which also lets you see it. He then climbs into the minecart. Enter one of the action stages.
After you've mastered the basics, it's time to put those skills to the test.
The minecart action stage. Here you have Pac-Man in a minecart, which moves at different speeds, going uphill or downhill. There are various hazards you have to protect him from as well. You have a faster button to make Pac-Man jump over big gaps. You can also shoot him to make him jump out of the cart and avoid ledges that are face level.
I like the scared face while pumping harder.
And of course, you also have to keep the ghost monsters away from him. Just watch. Ugh, that was too close. And here's an example of a bad move. It's always nice seeing that goal sign spin. So the minecart comes to a stop, and Pac-Man is relieved. But he needs to get down. You might have guessed it. Shoot him.
A little proof that this really is an interactive cartoon. Watch this.
You then come to a construct area and have a few things to get. Yep, that box has eyes, so set the ghost monsters free. After chomping them, you get another security card. Check the second box, and you get the second game cartridge. And the third box has a slice of pizza, and Pac-Man eats it. No questions asked. At the end of the construct area, there's a rope pulley machine. Pac-Man tries to operate it, but it doesn't work. He gets angry and walks away to the end of the cave. But there's a boulder in the way. He tries shoulder ramming it, which also doesn't work, and also makes him angrier. Try again to get him to operate the machine in this mood. He will kick it a few times. Pay attention when he walks away. You'll notice the machine jiggles and makes a noise. When this happens, shoot it again. He will fury punch the machine, and with enough abuse, the rope machine activates. I like how Pac-Man shows you that the rope moved the rock.
Well, we have a security card, a game cartridge, and a slice of pizza, but no flowers.
Back at the mountain entrance, take another look and you'll notice a rope. Shoot it down, then point up to have Pac-Man climb it. You can also shoot it to get his attention, but pointing is easier.
I like how on the Super Nintendo version, he sings while climbing the rope. Compared to the Sega Genesis version.
It's also pretty funny what happens when he tries to climb the rope while feeling unconfident. Once on top, you find a hang glider stuck in a tree and another guidepost. Pac-Man first reads the sign. Then, you need to shoot that glider out of the tree, which startles Pac-Man. But then, he picks it up and decides to go hang gliding. And with a wink, we're off. Let me get rid of that rock. Whoa! That was close. This scene is what made it to the Genesis box and cartridge art. I'd have to say, they got the face right. And this is another action stage. What a busy mountain.
Keep in mind, he's doing all this just to get Lucy some flowers.
Why exactly can't that supermarket be open? Is it a Sunday? This time you have a button which causes Pac-Man to increase altitude.
Higher, higher. Higher, higher.
When you shoot him, he lowers altitude. And again, you have to keep the ghost monsters away. Wow. He's hang gliding a few thousand feet up, and they're coming at him with boulders. They really hate him. Let's enhance this part with some voice clips.
Looks like we is the chopper and you is the chompy, Pac-Man.
We got him cornered now.
No one will find me under this rock.
Higher, higher.
And with all that done, you get another sign spin of victory.
Higher, higher.
After crash landing into a tree, he's now on top of the mountain. This part can be a little annoying. There are 4 vines to try out, and I don't think this balloon is here for any other reason than to upset Pac-Man. Popping it doesn't help either. But in a pinch, you can cheer him up with a power pellet. You probably noticed the flowers. Yes, these are the flowers that Lucy likes so much.
I think I would have picked more than one.
Well, now you need to get back down the mountain. Remember those vines? 2 of them are pointless. One of them summons a bunny. And the last one? Pull it to reveal a hole that takes you back to the mountain entrance. If Pac-Man is on the other side of the hole, the bunny will show up and knock him down the hole.
But before we leave the mountain, here's a little something that I only recently figured out.
You might notice the stack of logs blocking a different path right here. It doesn't matter what mood Pac-Man's in, or how many times you shoot the logs. He doesn't interact with them at all. Well, what you want to do is climb back up where you had him hang glide. But don't shoot the glider down. Instead, shoot the rock in his path only one time. Then let him kick that rock. It collides with this boulder right here and they both fall down. You then hear a crashing sound. Have Pac-Man climb back down the rope And now, check out where the logs were. You now have an arrow on the ground that Pac-Man can notice when you point up. This new route leads to a secret hang gliding level.
This one's harder than the first one, though.
You really have to plan what you're doing carefully, and have fast reflexes to get Pac-Man through this level. And the ghost monsters are a lot more relentless this time. Keep trying though, and you'll win. The prize, however, isn't worth it. The glider simply takes Pac-Man back to the park. Well, we're back in the village at least.
After a very eventful day, Pac-Man heads home to deliver the flower to Lucy.
Back home, Pepper gives Lucy the flowers like she's the one that got them for her. This is an accurate depiction of how things were at the time. The majority of people were partying with Miss Pac-Man while ignoring the one who started it all. I feel you, Pac-Man. Again, you see an angry ghost witch punish her ghost monsters. And yes, I give. It's the ghost witch.
What was the mission exactly? Mwahaha! Keep Pac-Man from getting his neighbor's favorite flowers. Not a very scary bad guy.